Mr Speaker, I thank the member for Gilmore for her question and of course recognise her ongoing interest in the sustainability of the welfare system. The member for Gilmore recognises that in making savings inside the welfare system is the way that we pay for new expenditure in items like the NDIS and manage to work our way back to surplus. And perhaps, Mr Speaker, a useful place to start in answering the member's question is to note a really quite remarkable fact that I'm not certain most Australians would be aware of, and that is, as a government, we inherited a situation where there is, unhappily, a very substantial debt owed to the Commonwealth from inside the welfare system. And at the end of June 2015, there were over 1 million individual debts with a collective value, Mr Speaker, of $3.04 billion owed to the taxpayers of Australia. And that, I might say, that in excess of $3 billion figure does not indeed take into account debts that we have yet to identify. And the Minister for Human Services is going through a very stringent process at the moment of identifying previously unknown debts that are owed to the taxpayer. Of course, that debt exists in the context of the fact that, as Mr Keating said recently, we cannot pretend that we can go on spending as though nothing has happened. As part of the mid-year economic review, we announced $2 billion worth of savings initiatives over 4 years that revolve around recouping in a fair and reasonable way this debt. As I noted, some of those sit within the Minister for Human Services' responsibility, and they relate to data matching, the data that is given to Centrelink with the data about pay-as-you-go income that is provided to the ATO. And indeed, we are now going to extend that program to information given to the ATO about non-pay-as-you-go income, and that will recoup very substantial savings for the taxpayer. There is also a very important decision to apply a general interest charge to ex-recipients of social security. So these are individuals who were at one time inside the welfare system, have gone out, have become employed, but have taken with them a debt. And at the moment, whilst we have compulsory mechanisms to claw back debt from people who are inside the social security system, these debts for ex-recipients have largely gone unpaid. They represent $870 million held by 270,000 ex-recipients, and what we are going to do is apply an interest charge which will only be applied to those debtors if they do not enter into time-to-pay arrangements. That, we anticipate, will over 4 years recoup for the taxpayer $461 million. We think this is fair because if you're inside the welfare system, there are compulsory mechanisms to exact payment. We think it's fair because you don't have to pay the interest if you enter into a time-to-pay arrangement, and we think it's fair because it's money that shouldn't have been paid in the first place. The catch, Mr Speaker, is it will require legislation. We've heard how the Labor Party voted against a bill that would recoup monies owed by multinationals. The question is, will they vote in favour of a bill